Hey guys, this is Oshi and this is going to be my first end of the year collection type of videos. This is going to be my top 5 decks of 2021. The only criteria for this one was that the deck had to come into my collection this year. And I'm waiting for decks, but those are gonna be, new decks anyway. So these are ones that I actually worked with and liked. Because I will have a few other videos, and one of them is going to be the top 5 decks of intrigue, and those are new decks that I haven't really worked with, but I find very interesting. I have expectations, or they were surprising to me in some way. So there's going to be a separate one, but these are the ones that came into my collection in 2021, and I liked working with them. And some might not be surprising, at least one, but you never know. So yeah, the first one, and I'm going with alphabetical order because I don't think I need to pick a number one with these top 5, top 10 or 7 videos, because they are very, very close to each other. So the first one was the Field Guide to Garden Dragons, and this one was my first dragon deck. And I'm gonna show you a few cards. I haven't edged it yet. I don't know why. I wanna edge it to this, either this color or matching the ombre effect of the dragons, or a continuation of this dark brown. I don't know why, but I just haven't done it. But these are the cards. I have walk and flip throughs of pretty much each of the decks that I'm going to show in these videos, I think already out. Yes, should be. So if you are curious about the deck, then just look, search for it on my channel and you can look at it. But I really like these dragons because, okay, this one is a bit, funny looking, but most of them look like how I see dragons, and I really like the keywords that are, that we're getting with them. So you can use it without reading the guidebook or being too concerned that you don't know what a peanut butter dragon would actually do, because it's a companion. So if you, pull it, you need to work with that. I love coffee dragons and energy. That's one of my favorite ones. The other one is the tree. Where's the T dragon. Okay, I'm gonna quickly try to find it because that's one of my favorite ones. And of course it's hiding. Look at that. But oh yeah, I love coconut dragon. I just love the colors and everything, and I miss using it. I'm kind of for now I designated it as a spring deck. And I'm not gonna find the freaking, oh yes. And I could have just grabbed the guidebook and show you there, but that would have been too easy. So yeah, that's my favorite one. So like I said, currently this is designated as a spring oracle, but I'm only gonna keep my seasonal system around until I had a chance to play with all of my decks, because I have a lot of decks, a lot of new decks all at once, and I had to find a way to, in a way, be forced to work with them, The second one is the Hush Tarot, which it was a surprise. At first, when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I like the artwork. And then I saw a few of them, and I was like, yeah, it's not the usual Rider-Waite, so I'm not going to be able to read with it. And I was like, oh, okay, good, I don't need it. And then I saw people using it. There was a reader who doesn't post anymore much, but she was using this deck quite a lot, and she told me, because I asked her how she likes the deck, and she told me that this was a deck that reads very, very well. And then, I don't know, something just clicked in me, I guess, and I started looking at the deck and the artwork quite differently. Like, this was a card that pretty much made me decide against the deck at first, because look at that Ace of Cups. Do you look at it as a, like a new beginning for something emotional or stuff like that? You don't. But this deck incorporates decay and things dying, and that's very late autumn, beginning of winter feel. into it that notion of life is ending at some point. You know, it is you know, a cycle, but endings and things disappearing is part of the cycle. And I talked about it, you know, that I have issue with my own mortality in a way that I don't want to die. But you know, it's gonna happen, so I have to incorporate that into my life somehow. And this deck is kind of that deck for me, if that makes any sense. And it reads so well. It gives off very clear messages, even though the artwork is not, you know, your typical one. How I read, I pull a lot out of what I see in the images, so very much visual in that way, and this one works very well for that as well. So if you're like that, I think you would enjoy it. So that was the second one, and everything is gonna be in the description as per usual. The third one was a very lucky buy with the help of this lovely community. This was another deck that at first I was like, I could never read with something like this. You know, like simple artwork where there are no people. I could never. This is the Queen of Queen of Cups. I could never read with it because, like, I was so I was at the beginning, you know, of my tarot reading journey. I'm one step forward, kind of, but I know now that I pull a lot out of images and feelings during a reading. So at first when I saw it, I was like, okay, I don't need it, and then I was happy because it was, I think it was on Kickstarter back then. It was still available officially, but it was quite expensive, or on the more expensive side, plus the shipping, even without the hustle of the customs back then, which is ridiculous. Like, you know, how much 1 year can change things. Even though I saw this deck in 2020, but I only got it this year. And then, as like with the Hush Tarot, something clicked. I kept seeing, look at that. Oh, I love these elemental cards, and I keep them in for the reading. I mean, the only thing that I don't like is this face, pretty much. In the Six of Water, I don't care about that face. But that I think that's the only card that I don't necessarily like. And then I was lucky to get it as a factory second, you know, not for those ridiculous prices that it goes, which I understand that there's a demand, so, you know, people will sell it for that much, but I kind of find it, I don't like how you know, when I know that they got it for a certain amount because I got it for the same and they make such a huge profit out of it. But yeah, I'm not a capitalist, I'm not a whatever, you know, money for everything and, you know, above everything person. So, you know, it's just me. But this reads also so well, so clearly. Like, honestly, I pull a few cards and I can talk about it for hours, pretty much, and I'm not even gonna start. But it was gold gilded. I removed it because it's that sort of gilding where it, you know, it's too sharp for me, and because of my guillotine is not completely aligned, so it's not 45 degrees. The angle for the blade to the top part, I can't really use it to cut my decks as precisely as I want it. So, you know, I mostly I have to eye a lot of things, but I think it's still good enough. And I used sage, color sage, and some other green, or maybe not green, but, you know, some old paper ink pad on it, and it matches the back perfectly. It gives, I love this, you know, it reminds me of old wallpaper where these paintings would hang on. So yeah, this was another one that I really liked, and I'm gonna put the Ten of Swords away. Oh, the sun is upside down, why? But yeah, this was a surprise and instant connection as well, which is which is lovely. It's always lovely when that happens. And the other one was another one that I also made people buy, so I'm quite pleased with myself. And this was the Mermaid Tarot. This one I picked up because even though I love a magnetic box, it's on the huge side and it's heavy, and I appreciate that it's a beautiful guidebook, but I wish it would be smaller and lighter because, yeah, practical reasons. But I picked this one up and I edged it in this quite vibrant green, to be honest, but to match the seagrass, is it called? Sorry about, I need to cut out the coughing. I'm getting better, but I have a what is it called? It's something like sinusitis, but it's the longer one, that your the cavities in your skull around your under your eyes. I don't know how they called. They are in inflammation, and I finally figured that out, that I have that, but it takes some time, because I have this problem for months now. So getting better takes time, but I'm getting there. So Mermaid Tarot, I picked this one up because I was in the Let's Build a Collection around seasons, and I wanted a deck that was very much summery, watery, summery for me. And I looked around and there wasn't a lot of ocean themed decks that I wanted. The Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot is on my wish list, but it's just too expensive to just get. And it's so much easier for me to get decks from Book Depository that that's always my first pick. If I can pick something, I'm gonna go with mass market because it's just cheaper and easier to get. And there are some cards that I like the Two of Swords is very interesting, but at first I was like, why are two people fencing? And then I realized that, hey, but they could be the two side of an argument, the two side of your mind, anything, that they try to make a decision. And there's a lot of layers in this deck, and I know that it has a Disney-esque feel, but it's so much more than that. It's so much deeper in a very good way. I like this Wheel of Fortune, a sunken ship, which shows that you are the captain of your own pirate ships, but there are bigger things sometimes at play, that no matter how hard you try to steer your own wheel, if you get into a really bad storm, you might, end up losing control. And I think that's a very, very good representation of the Wheel of the Fortune, how I read the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, there are a lot of, and the guidebook is awesome, and the same creator, or not creator, Lisa Robertson has released the Cirque du Tarot, which is going to be my Christmas deck. So I'm quite excited for that one as well. I'm quite sure that it's gonna be not on my top 5 decks of 2022, because it's gonna be coming in 2021, even though I might change the year association, and I will be going from video to video, because it's unfair to decks that are coming into my collection at the end of the year. But yeah, this deck has much more depth, like the ocean, than one would think at first glance. And the last one, which is only the last one because of alphabetical order, but are you surprised that this is the Smoke, Ash, and Embers? Because you shouldn't. It could be the number one deck of this year, but I purposefully don't want to be mean to the other decks, because I really like the other decks as well. But this is my look at that 4 of Wands. This is my dragon deck, and it's starting to pick up some smudge or whatever, not dirt, but because this is the prototype, so the cardstock is not as good as the Oak, Ash, and Thorn. But I mean, if you know me, or if this is your first time, hi, I'm Oshi, and I love dragons, and this is my dragon deck, and I gush about it everywhere, and I will continue to do so. I don't think I will ever stop doing that. There has to be something really horrible to happen for me to not love this deck, and I hope it's never gonna happen, because I just love it. And it's kind of still in order because I was filming a side-by-side recently. But yeah, this is my unofficially, but let's be honest, number one deck for 2021. And it's gonna be a cheat because next year the official version is gonna come out, and it means that I can use that in my next year's video. So yeah, and you bet your ass that it's gonna be on my list. Like I said, I can't see how how 5 other decks could come close to being my favorites for a year when, oh, look at that dragon. And I have this deck. So yeah, these are my favorite or top 5 decks. Let's get, oh, I want the fool. Is there a fool around? No, but let's have this card here. So these are my top 5 decks of 2021. There's gonna be 3 other videos that I'm planning on making soon. One of them is gonna be a VR to Nina from Shuffle Tarot, and I'm talking about this if you're watching and you're still here, because maybe you haven't seen it, then go ahead and watch it. Because it's a fun one. It's about the top 10 reading decks, and that's a new way of looking at your collection. Which one were the 10 decks that you pulled out for readings, actually, all year round. And I'm looking forward to seeing VR to that as well. Hopefully I'm going to link it down below, but if not, then just look for Shuffle Tarot and you're going to find it. But yeah, this one was my top 5 decks of 2021. I'm not gonna say anything about the next year, because we need to stop being so hopeful, and then we're not gonna be that disappointed. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your list down below if if you're not making a video. But if you do and you're not using any similar top 5 decks of 2021 hashtag, please do let me know if you make one, because I would love to see it. And like, subscribe, comment down below. Those all help my channel. Subscribe to my second channel, which is dedicated to readings. I release pick a card readings, and I'm going to do live readings as well as soon as I get good enough or better enough to do an hour at least on camera reading at least. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna shut up and go, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.